Sports Counterpoints podcast. It's January the 31st, 2023. I'm GB, Brian, Coop. We're your usual cast of characters. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
What's
From
up?
the
I see.
computer, from the cell, everything's good.
I got you. Yeah, we're gonna make it work. Do what it do. So we'll talk a little bit NFL. Obviously, there's the playoffs and then the coaches, some coaching shifts. Talk about you know, also the Pro Bowl and how they set up the rosters. I want to get these guys' opinions, and then a couple other little things will pop up. So starting with the league, man, let's just go through obviously last week's playoff games. We can start with y'all first because it was pretty
Yeah,
much over
yeah,
once the
yeah.
boy got
So
hurt.
I'm gonna tell you, but I felt cheated, not by the referees, but cheated to see if our team at full strength could beat Philly. And when Brock Purdy went out in the first quarter, I was pretty much done with the game. I waited until the second to see if he would come back. They listed him as questionable, but when you got the jacket on, you ain't questionable because you would be warming up if you was questionable, and he wasn't. So I wasn't too optimistic. Philly won. I mean, they did what they had to do. They knocked our quarterbacks out. I mean, hell, they won. But I mean, maybe it's just me. It's my personal opinion. I don't know if they're really that much better than us because I do know at one point it was 7-7, and that's only because somebody made a missed tackle on Philly, and McCaffrey went in for a touchdown, made it 7-7. So we were still hanging with him even after the injury, but it would been better if Brock Purdy could have came back and played either somewhat close to full strength, but it didn't happen. So, oh well. And I be honest with you, I fell asleep. And I think I told you, Glenn and Jill, I took a nap after halftime. At halftime because he didn't come, but Brock Purdy didn't come back in the game. Josh Johnson was in the game, and
Yeah,
it's
what can you do?
it's always bad when Josh Johnson plays and you're not up by 3 touchdowns with 6 minutes to go in the game. That's always a bad situation. And I think
Hey,
really the game was really lost in the closing seconds of the second quarter, second quarter when he fumbled the ball, didn't look at the ball for the snap, fumbled, and then didn't jump on it. And they went up 21-7. That was pretty much the nail in the coffin because the 49ers really didn't have any offense. It's kind of hard to play a football game if you can't pass the ball. So, Philly won. I wish I would have been able to see a better game, but I was over it pretty quickly in the first quarter. I don't know. What
yeah.
are your thoughts, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, much the same. Obviously, look, I don't think Josh Johnson played poorly. I mean, he was 7 for 13, but there's no way he's a quarterback that can win a conference championship. And Brock Purdy was meant to be. He came back in, but then they came out and said he had a torn UCL. He's going to be out for 3 months, needs surgery. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't a little injury. It's not like they're saying he sprained his elbow. That guy came back in with his arm on his side, basically. Didn't make another throw for the rest of the game. And it does. I understand your feeling or sentiment of feeling a little bit cheated, because it would have been fun or more interesting to see two teams at full strength go at it and see who the best team was.
Always.
And there was nothing about that game
Right.
that offered that kind of opportunity for either team. And Philly, they didn't need to do much more, but
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts only had 120 yards and no touchdowns,
Yeah.
and they still had that game well under control
Yeah.
for the vast majority of it. So
Yeah.
it was. I think the most unfortunate part of it is that we didn't really get to see an NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
You always want to see teams be healthy and see whichever team, doesn't matter who wins because they were
Yeah.
the better team or executed better or any of these other things.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone, the casual fan, the big fan rooting for a different team, ultimately lost out. That said, I got to be right. I always like being right. So
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Well, what was funny is though when people at work who are not fans of either team, and they felt like well, could Brock Purdy do it, or can Jalen Hurts
yeah,
get over?
we don't
But
know.
just
Yeah.
some side to make you think, okay, somebody actually earned the right to go. And Philly, yeah, they earned the right to go, but it'd been better if you just see who would make a mistake at the end or who could pull their team through, and we didn't get a chance to see
Well,
that. So
and I'm sure we'll talk about it next week, but because we probably won't do anything with Super Bowl this week. But I still don't know if Jalen Hurts is healthy.
yeah,
He has not, he has now won 2 games without having to be a major factor in
right,
either of those games.
yeah,
And so it would be he gets another 2 weeks. That's a lot of time. But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, if Jalen Hurts is actually going to have to win a football game, which you would imagine he'll have to do in a game against Mahomes.
Oh yeah.
Is he healthy enough to do that?
So Brian, to be honest, to answer your question, he wasn't healthy. I heard somebody who's
I
tied
think he is.
in Philadelphia Eagles. They asked him. He said before the game, it's like, "Are you healthy?" He's like, "Hell no, I'm not healthy, but I'm gonna gut it out." I think he said he was like 70 or 80%, but he definitely isn't 100%. But
yeah,
I mean,
15 completions for 121 yards is definitely not. 4.8 yards per throw. That's low. That's real low.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like you said, it was never a point in that game where you thought the 49ers were a threat to win ever, even when it was 7.
Yeah.
Not at all. And the thing is now, like you said, Brian, so I was reading yesterday and they said that it could take, because Brock Purdy's a small guy. They said it could take anywhere from 6 months to a year for him to heal. So he probably won't be back for the start of
I thought they said 3 months.
No, they said 3 months before he'll be able to throw again.
Yeah.
3 to 6.
They were saying
but he's saying full heal.
Yeah. So now they're trying to kick the tire Tom Brady. Now they're trying to
he'll start. And if San Francisco, in my opinion, if San Francisco does the right thing, they're making sure Garoppolo's nowhere near the roster. They're making sure Trey Lance is nowhere near the roster. That both those guys are good and gone, because the minute Purdy has to come back and plays even an iota under expectations for a single week, they'll be like, oh, we should have kept Trey Lance. So they got to make sure those guys are gone.
Trey Lance is going to be there. I think Garoppolo's gone, because Garoppolo could get his.
Garoppolo's definitely gone, because he can make real money playing someplace else.
Garoppolo's gone. Yeah, my bad.
But I think Trey Lance is gone too.
They try to say that, but they've been trying to get rid of Jimmy G for 4 years. He ain't going nowhere.
They've been trying to trade Trey Lance. There's already talk about Trey Lance on being on the block.
Man, somebody proposed something saying they could trade him to Tampa Bay for Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's a free agent. So you don't need to be traded for. He's a free agent. He can go anywhere he wants. So I don't know.
Well, the one that I saw, but that's the whole point, is that there's all these different things going around, is that that San Francisco approached the Vikings about Lance for a 3rd round pick.
San Francisco approached the Vikings.
Oh, wow. 3rd round pick.
Okay, well, if they approach somebody and they're trying to trade him, then okay.
And I understand that. Like, why if you think Purdy is going to be your guy and he has won that job, you have to give him an opportunity to be able to win over the locker room and not have anyone, whether it's veterans on the team, the fans, the newscasters, anyone sitting there saying, hey, you should bench Purdy and go back to Lance. He never got his shot, which he didn't. He didn't get a shot, but he never got a shot. He was everyone had so much confidence, and there's all the different lines that will absolutely say if he is in that locker room.
I keep both.
And you can't have that. I'm sorry.
I keep both of them
too. Go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I keep both of them, and then I'm telling you right now, since if Brock had won this game, you have a different conversation. I think now I'm coming in like, hey, it's an open competition. We're gonna see who plays the best in preseason and camp, and we're gonna roll with that. You already know, you've seen Brock at least, and if he's who he says he is, he can play.
Those open, like with all the coaches and folks will say, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
Right. I think they'll say.
I don't believe that anymore.
Well, the thing is, they gave
us an example otherwise.
But they gave up some 1st round picks for him. They have to say it's open competition, but everybody knows Trey Lance is not going to win it. I mean, everybody knows that that's not going to happen.
We don't. We never got to see. I'm just saying that if I'd have believed all of that, Brian, like last year, I'd have thought that there's no way Derek Carr comes back, which is probably not. But the way the Niners have handled all 12 of their quarterbacks this year, including Jimmy G. I mean, bro, he was shunned. Like, don't practice with us. You can't eat lunch with us. That was a
happy accident. That was not a team design.
Hey,
it
still
didn't work out.
Won games. It won games until he got hurt. So we rotate quarterbacks. Like we're rocking.
Like I said, there has never been a time where a team that has real aspirations has gone in that situation. You'll see it in Pittsburgh, where with a whole bunch of quarterbacks that suck. But you've never seen it from a team that has Super Bowl or bust aspirations, which the San Francisco 49ers absolutely have. That's why they brought McCaffrey. That's why they keep Kittle. That's why they keep, Debo. That's why they keep that whole, they're going to do whatever they do with Ayuk. They have Super Bowl or bust aspirations. There's never been anything even remotely close to an example of that being the case.
Yeah.
No, I get the oh
I'm on here twice. Hold on.
yeah, throw your there you go.
There we
I
go.
get all that, B. I agree. I'm just saying that hey, some things are meant to be changed. And the way these Niners have been with these quarterbacks, I don't think it matters who's in there, bruh. So I just have them both because they're on rookie
Oh,
deals and
it
sign all these
clearly
other
does.
players.
Or Josh Johnson for them, even for a small
Nah,
moment, would have given them hope.
not in a
Oh,
game like that big. You can't.
yeah.
Purdy didn't get dropped into the NFC
But
Championship,
but that's the point,
but during
Glenn.
the
Is
season you
that
could.
is that if you were another team, if and I'm not doing this to be snide or anything else, if you were the Raiders or some team that does not have Super Bowl or bust aspirations, like the San Francisco, like the Vikings actually have those kind of crazy aspirations. Not saying they're realistic, but they have that kind of aspirations. You can do stuff like that, but you can't do it for a team like the 49ers that have. There's only one way to judge a season. Did we play in a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
my thing is
Felt bad.
the way the Niners have had it. I don't know if it's going to matter. Whoever you get is at risk of being hurt because they apparently take
Sure.
one hit and they're
And they should
crumbling
absolutely go get a
because of the
good
line.
veteran backup quarterback that they think can run the offense. But
Man,
anyways,
you're gonna hear
I
Tom
think,
Brady's name.
Yeah.
well, if he comes in, he's coming
Unfortunately.
in to be a starter and Purdy's going to the backup
Yeah.
position.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They
If
gonna
I
see.
think if
Um,
Tom Brady comes in, you guys, I think they know Purdy might not be ready for the start of the season, to be perfectly honest with you. That's what I think. So they
Yeah, it
need
could happen.
somebody to kind of
well,
turn the
I think
tide, but we'll see.
Well, that's
that's a lot of that's way too early to speculate. But if Tom Brady comes in, he comes in because he's Tom Brady.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, they definitely got
Yeah.
that. What
And
about
and
go ahead.
so and I'm gonna tell you guys real quick. I didn't watch the next game because I was asleep. All I did was wake up and saw it was over. So
So many Niner
y'all
fans were
tell
done
me
with
what happened.
football. Y'all was done with
I was
football as
done.
soon as Purdy got
I was
hurt.
done.
Nah.
Damn, your whole season, you took a sleep on the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So what happened was, Brian, I woke up and it was 13-3 KC. And then went back to sleep and everybody was talking about the refs and stuff. And then KC had won 23-20 or something like that. So
Yeah,
y'all fill me in.
since he's no joke, B. What you think, man? I thought it was a good game. It was a really exciting game to watch today.
I thought it was a really good game. It's just we've been talking about this throughout all the different shows. I thought it was really unfortunate that there's so much talk, legitimate talk, about refereeing being
Hogwash all year.
overly important. And I'm not. If you look at all the stuff, they may have actually gotten the calls right in the, but how it happened and something and doing something that's never been done before and unprecedented to give KC the ball again and an opportunity again, and then calling the penalty on the next play. It's just a horrible look. Like the refs just look like crap, right? And it's unfortunate that what was otherwise a very good, very competitive game. The Cincinnati team coming back, fighting Klein, getting in there. You have Burrow and Mahomes and looking at classic. All these folks who are like, "Oh, Mahomes has proven that he's better than Burrow, and Burrow needs to shut up." And it's not. You all need to calm down with that. That was a really good football game. Burrow still looks legitimately great. But Mahomes won, and congratulations to him. It's just unfortunate that there's any type of subtext other than two great football teams played football and one team won. Any subtext is just it's a shame.
Yeah. I do know that when the Chiefs were up 13-3, they've had double-digit leads against Cincinnati. I think the last maybe 3 games, and they lost to all of them.
And yeah, Burrow
And
usually comes back, which
yeah,
he
and
was doing in this instance.
right. And I saw, yeah. So they had to kick a field goal and won the game. But yeah, I don't really have too much insight because, like I said, I was asleep.
And
Glenn,
Butker is, anyone who is worried that Butker might not be able to kick it if it were a few yards back has not watched Butker kick.
Yeah.
That guy is legitimately exceptional. And he would have been able to keep them. He very likely would have made it from 10 yards further. They said that particular kick didn't have the distance, but you kicked for the distance that you
For the
need.
distance, yeah.
Right.
Not for 10 yards extra just to show people you can.
You can do it. Yeah, no, that's for sure. But it helped. But it was the right call. So you gotta keep your head there. Sorry to the young guy, man, because he was so broken up about it. I know it feels like you lost your team, but you know me, if they were up by 10 points, it wouldn't have mattered if that play happened or not. The key was there's plenty of plays that happened to keep you right there and put you in a position where you could lose like that. So hey, on to the next, man. Chiefs back to the Super Bowl. Chiefs, Eagles. Yeah. So I don't know. Y'all want to? No, we'll wait. We'll wait on the preview.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
wait.
We'll
Because
So
I
too
have
much
no
time.
idea where to go with that until I find out whether Hurts is
Yeah.
healthy.
Not definitely. Well, he's
Or
Well,
Mahomes is healthy.
yeah. They gonna
Philly is
play
favored.
regardless.
Philly is favored by 1, just to let you know that. So
They gonna play regardless.
yeah,
What about these coach changes, man? So like the Niners, y'all about to lose a coach. Y'all
yeah,
defensive coordinators be up out of there
yeah.
quick, fast every
Bro.
every year. So D'Amico Ryan's to the Texans, man. Back to the team he played for. What y'all think?
I'll start. D'Amico Ryans, I knew we were going to lose him this year.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
he's
he's been
better
saying
than
it for a
Robert
minute.
Saleh, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he's better than him as a coach. D'Amico Ryans actually could have had a head coaching job last year, but he turned it down because he said he wanted to have a little bit more seasoning as a DC and learn a little bit more about being a coach. So I believe he's ready. But when you go to a franchise like the Texans, man, it seems like it's such an uphill battle with them, man. It's like you got to upgrade the talent, you got to find a quarterback, you got to get a coaching staff that's willing to
That's true.
actually play for the Texans, man. I mean, to actually coach the Texans. And then I don't know about that owner. I mean, he's like a little kooky owner. You know what I mean? He fired Lovey after a year, whatever. I mean, the other
Yeah, we
guy
knew that
before
was
him.
coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we fired the other guy before him after a year, and then the guy from Baltimore, and then he fired Lovey after a year. I'm sure D'Amico will get at least 2 or 3 years, but
Yeah.
when you got he wanted the Denver job actually, and I guess he had to settle for Houston, which I kind of get. They got
No,
Sean
he spent
Payton.
the whole day until he signed with Denver trying to convince him. So he
Well,
was the number one pick. He went to Denver on the day that he signed and spent the whole day. And Denver was trying to figure out a way to get him. And uh, the article basically that I read was talking about how they pulled out all the stops in Denver, gave it one last after he'd agreed, after it was announced that he was had a deal in principle with Houston.
mm,
Denver's like, what do you want? How can we do this? We really want you. It sounded like the big change was he gets to pick his quarterback in Houston.
oh, well, maybe that's it because Tim
Yeah.
Kawakami had initially said a couple of days ago that he wants a Denver job,
Yeah.
and his agent put out Houston because he was trying to get more money out of Denver, and maybe it wasn't more money, maybe it's because he wanted to pick his quarterback. So, I mean, if you're
Well,
picking
he
your
went to
quarterback,
Denver after they made the announcement. This was after. So I remember the article, or not the article, but I remember
Mhm.
the news floating around that he really wanted the Denver job.
Yep.
And that, but Houston apparently topped it money wise, and
Yep.
again, the best job in football is a fired coach.
Yeah.
Get all the
Yeah.
money and none of the stress.
Right. Right.
Just man, that just
So
you say that and the money's great, but you would be so sad. Just can't even coach, just on the sidelines, getting
I don't
paid.
know,
Like,
man. I don't know.
gotta
Sean
love that.
Payton did not look disappointed this year.
That's
See,
funny.
but I still feel like Sean Payton, bro. Like this guy literally took a year off to not have to coach Andy Dalton and and
And
take
got paid.
losses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, wait. What
All
compensation?
the reason he stopped for.
What
One
compensation did
for
New
a
Orleans?
first round and a second round.
I'm about to say because he still was not owned, but he still was under contract by the
Yep,
New Orleans
they
Saints.
got
Oh,
Okay.
a
that's
first round and a second round.
Okay. All right.
But going back to Houston, so throughout the season we've talked about like what kind of coaches will succeed, and you've always been very adamant, especially this season and most of last season,
Mhm.
that you need to have an offensive-minded coach right now because the way the NFL's played, the way the rules are, the way teams are trying to sculpt their future.
Mhm.
But you've also been a very big supporter of D'Amico Ryans,
Yeah.
who's been a defensive coordinator for your team. So how do you land on that? Like, do you think
Yeah.
he's the right defensive coordinator, or do you stand by it
Man.
needed to be offensive and this is going to fail
So
for that reason?
so Brian, that's a good question, and the reason why I say that because I just look at some of these defensive coaches. It's like take Buffalo. It's been 5 years. They still can't run the ball. Can't get the offensive line right. New England, Bill Belichick. Since Brady is gone, and we all know that team is the same. He's just hiring anybody to do anything, and that offense doesn't look any good. Robert Saleh and the Jets. I'm not sure about Saleh. Mike Tomlin. I like Mike Tomlin as a coach. I really do, but I know him and Roethlisberger didn't get along the last couple of years, and they got a really expensive defense and a very cheap offense, so they really don't have offense right over there. Chicago's coach came out and said the same thing I've said about Justin Fields for 2 years. He needs to work on throwing in the offseason because he's not really good at it. Washington has Ron Rivera, and we all know what a mess Washington is. And then Seattle, they had a good season this year with Geno Smith, but You can't expect to hit on every draft pick every year and expect the same type of season with Geno Smith. So defensive coaches are kind of struggling. The offensive guys are the ones that's really getting it done. Now, just about D'Amico Ryan specifically, look, because of the trend I was talking about, Brian, I wouldn't hire him as a head coach, but I can see why somebody would. If I had to hire a defensive coach right now, it would be him. I think he deserves a shot. But his success, Brian, is going to be from the other side of the ball that he's not familiar with. Who does he hire on the offensive side? Because that's going to keep him employed. If you're Sean McDermott and your defense is just getting gouged by Cincinnati and Kansas City all the time, and you're a defensive coach, that's not good. I think D'Amico is like I say, he's fighting an uphill battle, Brian, because they really don't have that much talent on Houston. So he's going to have to upgrade that defense and then find the right guy who people want to play for on offense. So that's where his success is going to be, Brian. And I think if it doesn't work out for him, he can always go back to being the coordinator. But I really hope it does work out for him in Houston, even though he's a defensive coach.
Yeah,
But
you just gotta win some more
Yeah.
games.
We'll
Win a
see
few
what
more
If I had to
games.
guess, he
then
gets
the nine.
3 years. He gets to
Yeah,
draft his quarterback this year, and he gets to give it a shot.
yeah. You
so
you win more
we'll see.
more than Lovey did, and Lovey obviously didn't get a fair shake. We all know that
No.
he was a holdover coach, but I
And
think
and look, Houston was competitive at the end of the season. They didn't get blown out.
yeah,
They
and
were
D'Amico can
playing
do that
real
too.
football.
D'Amico, to me, like, okay, you're talking about. I think you make a great point about the teams that are really at the top right now have offensive minded coaches. However, they're at the top. If you're a team trying to turn it around and build, I think starting on the defensive end is awesome. I don't know if that gets you over the hump, but getting your team back in order, especially a team that's near the bottom, defense is everything. So if you can at least slow people down, you have a chance. I kind of feel like that's kind of what the Jets did, right? Because they, to your point, you're absolutely right. Like every coach you mentioned, their offense is just kind of abysmal. But to that point, their defense is so ill that they've stayed in games and had a playoff chance and they're close. So I think it's a good way to turn a team around, but maybe not turn a team up towards the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it
So
does. It doesn't
get you
keep you
rolling again.
employed. Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't keep you employed.
but
So
can jumpstart your franchise. If you're the Jets, right now you have the defense. Whatever happens, if you can get an offensive minded guy and figure that
they
out,
did. They got Denver's ex coach. He's the offensive
yeah,
coordinator now.
right. Like you know what I mean. You can kind of
So
transition into that, figure out your QB and go, but start on that defensive end. I don't think guys with no defense and just come in as offensive guys can take a
yeah.
while to get back.
So
Also, one more thing, Brian, before I let you go. Also, one more thing. The Jets hit on some picks. Seattle hit on some picks. Houston
Yeah,
has to hit on some picks. I
definitely.
think if you don't hit no, if you don't hit no picks in the draft, I think because you need that cupboard is bared and it needs to be full.
And they already
So
got
and
Stingley, right?
here's what I think is unfortunate. They're going to absolutely be able to take a quarterback. They got some good early picks. I don't know that there's one of those game changers. If they,
Yeah,
if they could be patient and wait for Caleb Williams and suck this year and go get him, I would almost go that route because I
get
don't think there's
somebody ill
any
for the
way to
defense.
argue that Caleb Williams will not be a good pro. Whether he's great is a question, but he will definitely be good. And I don't know that any of these other guys are going to be. There's any guarantee that they're going to be good or better.
Not this high in the draft. Like if you can get them in third round
I
or
guess we'll
something,
talk.
you have a
I guess we'll
chance.
talk
But
because in
first
my
round's
opinion,
tough.
and I guess we'll talk later. But in my opinion,
Yeah,
Bryce Young is the best. I said when he started playing last year, he was the best Alabama prospect. He's better than Jalen, better than Tua, he's better than Mac. He's absolutely exceptional. The problem is he's just too damn small, and I just have a problem drafting small quarterbacks because he already got
And to
hurt in
be good
college.
in the NFL, you have to
Yeah,
be upright.
yeah, exactly. And so
what about
that's right.
But what about Denver?
I was just about to say the
Because Denver
same thing,
got
bro.
okay, well, yeah, Denver
Go
got
ahead,
So
go ahead, B.
Peyton.
well, real quick, if you guys, every time you guys say something is not going to happen, or you don't want to see it, the joint happens. Every player that Brian's ever said for the Lakers, he didn't want. If he say somebody now, we gonna get him. He could say Spud Webb. He gonna be signed a 10-day. There's no diss to Spud Webb. I'm just saying, like, it's. And then y'all say, you kept saying, Jason, oh, I wouldn't take the Denver job.
But I would, yo, man, I
Why would I
wouldn't.
do that? And I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe
Man.
Sean Payton will go to the Rams or stay away from us. Sean Payton
Hey,
announces Denver head coach. Why does everybody got to go to the damn
How much money you
Broncos?
make? How much money you making?
they haven't
Oh, is that
announced
it?
his deal yet. They just said it's a
Okay.
deal in principle, and this was the compensation. This is what they had to give up to get him. But I'll
Okay.
say this: I have always said that Sean Payton either goes to Houston or Denver. Those are the only two jobs that he was
Well,
looking at. I
yeah,
said
those are
Houston.
top
I
ones.
personally think Houston is the better job. Look, I think that kind of has played out. I think the reason for that is that you could pick your own quarterback, where in Denver you have to deal with Russ. But anyways, but Peyton's
Russ
there.
is good.
Look, I think this makes sense. If you're Denver, you want somebody who can coach a quarterback and build an offense. They have put all their eggs in the Russell Wilson basket, and he was awful this year.
Yeah, because of the coach.
And so, and if you have, and you're not getting out of that deal, and if you get out of that deal, the only place you're going to get rid of him is to go take Kyler Murray, which you're in the same damn boat with a different name, right? So the reality of it is that they needed to do whatever they could do, which is what they've done, mortgage the house to bring in a coach who could possibly turn around that offense. And you got to remember, they also got, Javonte got hurt early. He's very good.
Man,
They've got 3 wide receivers
hate
are better at quarterback than Tyler Huntley.
oh gosh, that's just unnecessary, bro.
And,
That's just mean.
That's a Coop comment right there. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was.
But so Denver doesn't need the draft picks and the draft to be able to turn around. They've got talent there. They needed somebody to come and do something with it, which is why I think they felt comfortable giving up the draft picks, because the reality of it is that who they draft this year is not going to make them successful in the next couple of years. But their coach could. I'm not saying he will.
Right.
But if you're the Denver Broncos organization and you're going to take a shot and your eggs are in the Russell Wilson basket, you go that route. And Glenn, you absolutely should be fizz face, sour milk face, and the whole thing.
Bro, this every time.
You've got a Hall of Fame coaching seminar going on in your division for the next.
Well, except with Brandon Staley. Yeah, except for him.
That's fine, but we'll mess around and they'll win more games to be in the playoffs. Like, bro, this is terrible. Everybody got to go to the damn Broncos. Elway's restaurant ain't that dang good. What is the boy doing?
Look,
every time y'all go in there.
Anymore.
Look, Brian, I understand what you're saying. I get that part. Why?
Who's the GM now?
Denver. The GM for who? Denver?
Yeah.
I forgot what the GM is.
Elway's gone?
Isn't he bringing his own GM, Ryan Pace? That's what he wanted to bring in with him.
I didn't even know that.
Elway's
still involved.
We don't know what he's doing, but
they said Ryan Pace was going to be a GM, but
it's George Patton right now.
I understand
it's George Patton. That's his name.
Oh, I thought Ryan. I thought that was a colonel in the Revolutionary War.
I knew who you were talking about.
but yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, Brian. But they're locked into Russell Wilson for at least 3 years because this contract extension does not kick into the year.
No room.
So it's dead cap. They have no cap space. They have no picks. But here's the thing. I think they give Russell Wilson 1 year. And I think if Sean Payton doesn't believe him, I think they draft a quarterback. Not saying the quarterback's going to start, but I think they draft a quarterback. And they groom him. So when Russell Wilson, after a couple of years,
here's
they'll get
problem.
rid of him.
Where are they going to draft him? What are they going to draft him with? They gave him a first. And
it got to be middle. It has to be middle rounds. It has to be middle rounds.
And they
in the next year or two.
And they gave up three picks to get Wilson there in the first.
Yeah, it'll be middle rounds, but only if this Russell Wilson thing doesn't work. And think about, but the thing is, he's not coaching Drew Brees, and him and Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, are two totally different quarterbacks. Russell Wilson makes a lot of his impact outside the pocket, which he doesn't really do anymore. Drew Brees makes his impact inside the pocket, so a little different.
And I have enough respect for Peyton, even though he's the criminal who orchestrated the reason why the Vikings didn't win a Super Bowl. But that being said, I have enough respect for him to say that I don't think he's dependent on a Drew Brees style quarterback.
No, yeah.
I think he's talented enough that he can create an offense with a quarterback. He needs a good quarterback, and the question is whether Wilson can become good again.
He is.
Yeah, but he can.
Be Broncos again.
And he's got wide receivers, so he doesn't need Drew Brees to go out there every year and lead the league in passing yards and touchdowns and all that stuff, which he did. I think to possibly be successful.
I got respect for Sean Payton like that too. But I heard Sean Payton, he was on Fox all this year, man. And he used to be on there for 20, 30 minutes just talking football, man. That dude is so knowledgeable. It was so good to hear him. I'm actually going to miss him, listen to him on Fox. Now he's going to be coaching the Broncos. So
our division's going to be one of the toughest ones in the league, just not soon. It might be like once this all gels, like in a season or a season and a half, 2 seasons, you're going to have too many good teams in there. Because the Chargers are going to figure it out. And I don't know what's going to happen with us. But that. I mean, they're going to get them a coach of some
Did we think they were going to be a really good division this year?
Come on, man. Chargers go for it on 4th and 7 from their own 30. I mean, dude done done it before.
However, to that point, you're talking about Staley, who was a question mark, but now you add Sean Payton into there. So any questions you had about the Broncos are somewhat quelled on that situation because you have the coach. You didn't believe in Hackett previously. You believe in Payton.
Yeah, I do not. I never believed in Hackett. But
that's what I'm saying. And then the Chargers are going to try and figure it out.
I think Payton's a good coach, but I don't think it's a given that it works.
Peyton, yeah, I don't think it's a given either. It's all about, I don't think it's a given.
I think
That
if you
offense is
play
going to
your
change.
cards right, you could beat the Chargers and the Raiders, and that's my biggest damn concern. I ain't trying to lose to these fools, and then
if Peyton,
you can win some more games.
If Peyton's
100%.
is going to have any chance, he's already called Russell Wilson and said all the prima donna stuff that you got before is gone. If Drew Brees doesn't want all the prima donna stuff, you don't get it. Period. You got one parking space, bro. You got your office. I'm giving it to my secretary.
Right, your personal chiropractor and everybody else you have up in there. Yeah, it's all bad.
All that stuff.
And now, Glenn, I hear what you're saying, but I hear what both of you are saying, but he's still sort of dependent on the success in Denver on Russell Wilson. He's still kind of dependent
of course, that's his quarterback. I do not think
Wilson will be.
I don't think Russ is burnt out like everybody thinks. I just think that was a bad season.
I don't think he's burnt out either. I just don't think it's a given that it's going to be all.
Nothing is. There's no guarantees out
here. And I do think Russell Wilson is as motivated as anybody to have a much better season next year.
Yeah, bro, he's not that
his
weak.
legacy,
his personality, and all that with teammates.
He doesn't really. His teammates. Yeah, you saw when he got sacked, his teammates didn't. No, you saw it on TV when he got sacked. The teammates would just walk past him. They didn't even help him up. That's there. That's real.
I don't think that could. I don't think you can't necessarily change that. And even with that, you still couldn't win enough some games to get you more wins than he had this year.
Man, they looked at him like,
I ain't putting him in the Super Bowl. I'm just saying they're gonna be eventually better than they was because Sean Payton is there. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And that's not good for me. So how about that? And they beat y'all without them. So they beat y'all with Nathaniel Hackett.
Well, that's because we had Garoppolo
quarterback. Glenn, what are you worried about?
Tell me about this Pro Bowl, man. Y'all are hating, bro. So this is my thing. Derek Carr went to the Pro Bowl, and I love DC. I like the man that DC is. I appreciate what he did for the organization. Whatever, okay, that's out there. I rock with DC. If I play Madden today, Derek Carr is for sure throwing passes. He's in the game. But the Pro Bowl is kind of like, what? So I started looking at the rosters, and it sounds like they had just, all the top guys are kind of like, no. You start getting other guys like they wasn't going to come. He wasn't going to play in this game. And then now you're at, what's the roster, Brian? Can you please read it? Because I know you've been wanting to talk about
the full roster or just the
quarterback
situation?
Because Derek Carr,
the AFC has gotten so low that they have put Derek Carr, Trevor Lawrence, and Tyler Huntley in the Pro Bowl for the AFC. Now, I totally understand that some of the top guys aren't going to play. But when you get to the point where Tyler Huntley is anywhere on your roster of people to call with 2 touchdowns for the entire season that he played, 2 touchdowns. I went through a whole long list before the show started. Teddy Bridgewater had more. Matt Ryan had more. Like 2 touchdowns on the season. There's just no good reason why you can tell me that Tyler Huntley should be getting a Pro Bowl. What I really want to know is, does Tyler Huntley have a Pro Bowl bonus in his contract, and how much of it did he just give away to get that assignment?
Wow, that's deep. Oh dang, that's deep. I'm looking that up. That's actually a good point.
Yeah, they do be having that. Yeah,
I just thought you got
people
you could get.
It.
Of course, I thought there's people you could get to go to the game. I'll be honest. Matt Ryan is not going out to no Pro Bowl. Teddy B probably don't want to go to no dang Pro Bowl. Vegas. Who would actually come to the game and throw a couple passes?
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out the scoop and if those other guys were talked to. But I do think that some of these other guys would have gone. Tyler Huntley is, if there's a long list of quarterbacks in the AFC, and I'm not a dislike. I don't think Tyler Huntley was bad.
Right.
I thought he did his, but he only had 2 touchdowns. He's more likely to throw more touchdowns in the Pro Bowl because there's no defense being played and it's a flag football game now, and it's mostly a skills competition, which he's going to get the doors blown off of.
Well, I mean, didn't Huntley fumble the ball at the goal line against Cincinnati, and the dude ran back
he got slapped away, man. He's under contract for $895,000 only through this year. He's not even.
If he's got a Pro Bowl kicker in there, like Geno had one.
This is what's funny. He's not even signed on the same team next year. He doesn't have a contract right now.
No.
To the Pro Bowl. I hope he does. I want to see the brother
Tyler
get paid.
Huntley's a free agent.
That's funny.
The day that the Super Bowl ends.
So this might get him some bread. He's a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Yeah, all they got to do is watch him play. And they ain't getting no bread. All they got to do is just watch him play.
There's so many weak teams. He just as a backup. Hey.
Yeah, as a backup, he might get a backup. But
they just made sure that nobody's watching the Pro Bowl.
It's the Pro Bowl, man.
We're going to watch it anyway.
Yeah, no,
People watch the Pro Bowl. It's a great game to bet on. It's a great game to
unfortunately,
watch your favorite players
no.
go and do fun
you
stuff.
are a degenerate if you bet on the Pro Bowl, man.
Oh, hell no.
No, seriously.
Hell no. It was the best over bet in football.
Yeah, right, exactly, right. But
100%
yeah,
over every single time. It was, you might as well just double walk in and say, just give me $100
you know, over
or whatever
exactly,
your bet is,
and you'll
because
win.
it's gonna
I
go
get
over.
you. I
Now,
get
let
you,
me ask-
Always goes over.
but David Garrard, Trent Green, all these guys made Pro Bowls, man. Everybody
sure.
makes the Pro
David
Bowl.
Garrard
So
threw more than two touchdowns.
Here we go, Brett.
Who?
You know
No,
what's
he was actually. I mean, he
I know.
look,
I
was
like.
one
I had him
season
on a
in the
fantasy team.
thing,
I know.
but
David
yeah,
Garrard was.
he had a good year.
I just
David
think it's
Garrard
funny,
had
bro.
a good year.
He had the boy Huntley. It's messed up. God bless the man. I hope he gets paid. I just think it's funny. He threw 2 more touchdowns than Alyssa did. Alyssa.
Oh man,
So here's the
Hilarious.
list.
Funny.
Here we go. You're gonna love these folks here. Here's the list of the lowest TD passes a quarterback has
gosh.
had until Tyler Huntley.
We don't need this.
Vince Young with 10. Ken O'Brien with 10. Mike Boriola. I can't even say his last name. You got 6. So these guys had 3 and 5 times more than Tyler Huntley when they made the Pro
You're
Bowl,
hating,
and they
bro.
were the worst that's ever been.
All right. Next topic, man. This guy.
Yeah.
This
I can't watch the
hogwash.
Pro Bowl. Yeah,
Let me tell you
that's
this.
hogwash.
One interesting fact I thought: Derek Carr goes to the Pro Bowl. Cool, he gets his goodbye to Vegas potentially. However, that counts as a games played. So if something were to happen to him in that game, the Raiders would be on hook for his contract.
Nothing happened to him in a flag football game. Not going to happen.
Yeah,
Supposedly.
not in flag football.
Supposedly,
flag.
He could tear his UCL throwing passes in the skills competition.
That's hella funny.
Bro, I'm not saying he does. I don't even think Derek Carr's that kind of guy, but hey, life is interesting. Like that'd be a cold game. So anyway,
Yeah.
so that's NFL talk.
The
What
Raiders
about,
just called your near insurance broker.
man? I would say I
Like
wish it
how
was
much
me.
for the rider on his knee?
Give me B, you were mentioning some of this golf stuff, man. Give me like a 20-second rundown of what happened last tourney.
Well, so the tournament that was in Dubai turned out to be pretty interesting. We talked about it last week when there was kind of the whole what do they call it, T gate, where Reed threw a tee, and then they were going back and forth in the media. But then the golf round started, and as chance would have it, Rory was in first and kind of in the final group, and Reed was kind of a challenge, and there was some up and down and some bogeys and some birdies and all the rest of the stuff. And ultimately Rory won. But when asked after the round about the fact that Reed was in the group in front of him, he said, yeah, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the exact quote, but yeah, I had to concentrate even though the asshole in the group in front of me was there. And it was not a light shot. It was a very, very clear F that guy type moment from Rory, who I really like. And I think it's kind of interesting to see him come out of, he's no longer PC. He's really taken it at, and Reed is number one target. We talked about last week where Reed, had him served on Christmas Eve. Reed has since come out and said, I had no idea about any of that. That was my attorney. He didn't ask or tell me or any of those types of things. Obviously, I wouldn't have opted to do that. It don't matter, man. You had someone served on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. You don't give a damn.
You could have very easily, or what you should have done was say, hey, whatever that is, you can serve them after New Year's. Like this week, we can leave this alone. There's nothing was going to happen. The courts are not going to, docket it and, rocket docket it and hear the case.
Right.
So there was nothing that was going to happen in that week that you needed to make sure it got filed and he got served.
A little spicy. So it's funny to say there's some spice in golf, but that's that. Just kind of keeping it flowing. Sports Counterpoints. I like to appreciate you keeping try and keep you abreast of what's going on. Some of the other dramas and what's happening in other sports too. So with that, in other sports, man, LeBron James is 89 points away from Cap. He could pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in a few games, probably. What do you guys think? Is it
It's going to happen on Tuesday. That's 3 games away.
In LA.
I think he's got 2 road games. He's got the Pacers and the Pelicans. And I don't care if he scores 48 in those 2. He will pull himself out of that game so that when he can do it
Yep,
in
his family
LA.
will be right there and everybody.
So yeah, the cost of tickets for next Tuesday's game certainly will go up because that's the most predictable thing that I can think of in sports right now. He's going to pass it on next Tuesday.
He breaks a record that people didn't think was going to be broken. So
Yeah.
it's
There's
going to be
no
plenty of.
way he does that in New Orleans for the
Right.
Pelicans.
Right.
No way he does it. He couldn't do it. It's 89 points, but in Indiana for the Pacers. So it will be done. And that assumes that he doesn't miss one of those games. The only thing that could mess up that math is if he decides not play in one of those two. But I'm
That's
gonna guess,
bro. That's crazy.
I'm gonna guess
Yeah.
he goes out and gets his 20 something in each of those two nights, and then gets ready to score 30 or something and do it in on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I knew it was going to happen maybe like 3 years ago because you could tell he was on that, or a couple of years ago
Yeah,
he was
he's
on
on
that
that arc.
trajectory. But still, it's just crazy because when you talk about it, Glenn or Brian, you talk about it, it's like, damn, that's just crazy. I mean, that is a lot of points that he scored.
40,000
And,
almost.
and Cap, he played 40 till he was 42 years old. And those last couple of years, wasn't so great or whatever, or last year wasn't so great, but still just an unbelievable, of course, career about Kareem,
He
but
played,
unbelievable career with LeBron. And he's averaging like damn near 30 a game still. It's
bro.
not
yeah.
like
He's
it's
been
not like
great lately.
yeah, it's not like he's averaging 12. You know what I mean? Trying to hold on.
Kareem played 1,560 games. LeBron's played 1,407 games. That's 2 more seasons left. So
Okay.
LeBron, not maybe scoring 30, but if he continues to play, plays a year with his son, and still produces, he's gonna. I don't think
Yeah.
the records
I don't think it might be
The
broke.
reality of it
no
is
one
that
active is even close.
Yeah.
yeah, but the reality of it is that LeBron has been able to do it over less years because we have 82 game seasons. Where
Yeah.
Kareem, they had 30 and 40 game seasons.
Did
Yeah.
they?
I
don't know.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s,
The
yeah, they went
number,
82 games. Yeah.
no, it wasn't even
I
close
mean,
to it.
it makes
Yeah.
sense, right? You add more as the league gets bigger, but I never thought about the aspect of that's even more impressive, actually.
Yeah.
So, well, staying healthy and all that, but Kareem,
For Kareem, I mean, to do it in that many less.
Kareem, he had less opportunities over the course of a season to score points because of the number of games and travel schedules and injuries and like people tear things. Not that this has happened to LeBron, and I don't want it to happen to him, but people tear things in the NBA now and they come back. Right, you think of Dominique Wilkins and some others. The minute they had a major injury, their careers kind of ended. Whereas Kareem was able to get around all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro,
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
yeah,
And he shot 55%, 56%. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like I mean, it's not an unbreakable like an unbreakable record is something like winning 8 straight titles for
There's
the
no
Celtics
such thing as an
or
unbreakable record.
or oh yeah, winning
With the
8
right
straight
things
NBA
happening,
titles or averaging 50 points a game like Wilt. I mean, that's not going to happen. 8 straight titles in NBA, that's not going to happen. And we probably thought it was going to be very, very hard for somebody to break Kareem's record, but now I think it's even going to be harder for somebody to break
bro,
LeBron's record
100%.
because
100%.
who's the next person that's going to be in their 18th, 19th, 20 years still averaging 30 damn points a game or close to
Could
it?
be Wimbayama.
When you look at the list, like the only as you scroll down this list, you don't even get to an active player until you get to 14 with Kevin Durant, and he has 26,684. So he's 12,000 behind Braun and still active. He's not playing another 10 years. You know what I'm saying? There's no one else even active on this list, bro.
Yeah, the only person that doesn't really belong on the list is
28.
Karl Malone, but other than that, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, he's 3. He's got 36,
Well,
928.
I'm saying nobody remembers 2 points in the playoffs that he's ever made, so it's like he doesn't really have a
Don't
memorable
matter.
moment.
Throughout
So,
this season, you
but I hear
gotta
what you're
score to
saying.
get you there. You gotta score to get you there.
So,
But he ain't scoring. Kobe's 4. He ain't scoring no more. Jordan ain't. Dirk, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq, Carmelo, like Moses Malone. Carmelo's in the top 10, which is pretty dope. But bro, no one on
I
here
didn't
is
know
even
Carmelo's
active.
in the top 10. Actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty live.
Okay.
This is a cool list. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with Braun, man. I definitely got to watch that game. So please remind me too. Oh, I'll be with you. So I'll definitely watch it because you'll have it on. Perfect. All right, word. So yeah, appreciate you guys, man. Let's kind of wrap this thing up. I feel like I've been rambling on stuff.
So they instituted the 82 game season, I believe, the year before Kareem got into the league. So he did have the ability to play 82 games in any non-strike shortened season. So still hats off to him. They both have actually played 20 20 seasons.
Okay.
Vanessa. Give me so as we wrap up the show, man, what's hella hogwash? I think you guys already kind of know what mine is.
Oh
So.
no, yeah. Go ahead, Brian. We already did the Pro Bowl, but go ahead. Yep. Brian has his hand
Oh,
raised. Go
God.
ahead.
Not related to the pro. I'm going off menu.
Great.
Here's what is hella hogwash. They have to turn the Memorial Coliseum into a NASCAR race for this weekend.
Really?
NASCAR. It's
Wow.
140 yard. That's a football field turned
Wow.
into a NASCAR track. You should look up
didn't
a
know that.
picture. You
I
should
didn't
look
know
up a picture of it if you haven't seen this.
This
I
guy
didn't know
really
that
It
either.
is
is. It's not even a lot of left turns. It's just one left turn
no
all the
way.
time. The entire track is a turn.
Bush Light
There's no
Clash at the
straightaway.
Coliseum.
There's no straightaways. There's no nothing. That is hella hogwash. I love that. I love that they're trying to find ways.
Oh, I'm looking at
but
it.
yeah, it is. It is insanity to think that you're going to have a race, a car race, in what amounts to a large go-kart track.
Yeah, some of these pictures look cool
Wow.
though, like with the Coliseum
It looks
in the
beautiful. That's not,
background.
but
That
it
looks
is.
cool.
Yeah, this
It,
is crazy.
when there's an accident, there is literally no way for the next car to avoid it because you're only going to do what is it, 10-second lap?
Damn.
The
That's
you know
hella
what? If
funny.
this game was on top,
You need 3 laps to do a mile.
bro, I wouldn't have seen this race if it was on top of Allegiant Stadium. So it doesn't really matter where they race. I don't watch NASCAR, but wow, okay, that's
The
ridiculous.
site of 2 Olympic Games, a World Series, and a professional and college football game. The
I
track
didn't
will
even
be a
know
quarter
this.
mile around because it's absolutely no room than that inside. Oh wow, that's
That's
crazy.
terrible.
And if
Okay.
when you look at the pictures, I mean, there's
All right,
where are
B.
they pitting? You're gonna have to
Right,
pull you're gonna have to pull outside to get to the pit.
man, that's
That's
crazy.
funny. Drive out. Damn. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, all right. That's
Anyways, it's
all right.
just
That's
a
hoggy.
ridiculous
It's a money
stunt.
grab.
Yeah.
Money
Damn.
grab for sure. Cool. What about you?
Now mine was the Pro Bowl. Just people watching and betting the flag football game. People actually not betting, just watching that flag football
I'm
game
not
is
watching that. Not
ridiculous. I
seriously.
can't do it.
Well,
Can't do it.
I could see us having it on while we're, focusing on other stuff just on one of the TVs, but I ain't
We're
watching no Pro
golfing.
Bowl. Yeah. What about for me it's every dang coach or great player got to go to the dang AFC West, man. We all go somewhere else. Why is everybody Mahomes is too much, man? Stay out of there. Y'all don't want that. No one wants that. Just go somewhere else. Everybody got to go to the damn Broncos. Man, Peyton Manning was over there. Then just every year. Russ, man. Oh, new coach here, new coach there. Them fools just won a Super Bowl not that long ago. The Chiefs in there. Man, watch Vince Lombardi go to the Chargers. I'm
Shit,
out,
Vince
man.
Lombardi.
I'm
Vince
out, man.
Lombardi.
So that's mine. My minute to win it, man, is just thank you to every one of you who ever listens. If you got this far, you really rock with us, and I appreciate you. Just thanks for listening. Love you all. Love to the family. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead,
saying
David.
same with Glenn. I'm with Glenn on that one. Go ahead, B. You good at capping these
So we
things
had
off.
we've talked about this so many times over the especially the last 3 years where we had police violence against black men, and I don't think that we should overlook or forget about the fact that it has happened again because it was done at the hands of black police officers. This is a real problem where police officers
Mm.
target black men and treat them, as if they are not humans. And that does not change just because, it was black police officers. So I think it's
Black
just,
cop.
yeah, exactly. And so people, don't forget just what a problem that is. And at the same time that's going on, this SOB DeSantis has started proposing the removal of diversity and inclusion programs and studies in Florida public colleges and universities. So,
Insane.
I've always said you could break the Florida Panhandle right off, let it sink into the ocean. And I would not miss it an iota. But every time this man speaks or launches his racist tirades and calls it a fight for equity for others, it's just disgusting. It's just really freaking disgusting.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
hear it.
Hey, word, man. Can't say nothing better than that. Appreciate you, Coop. Appreciate you, Brian. We'll catch y'all next time. Sports Counterpoints, January 31st, 2023.